This is the NSPN Prep Update, a weekly look at scores, highlights, and stories from across the state. We go to the NSPN studios. Here's your host, Ryan Phelps.
Hello and welcome to the NSPN Prep Update for October 27th. We start with some great battles on the Class 6A gridiron in the round of 32, and a possible upset bid on the east side. Eagan and Woodbury in a nail-biter. Down 21-14 with under 10 seconds left, fourth down, and Eagan's Parker West on his first throw of the game finds Gage Halverson from 12 yards out to pull within one. Go for one or go for two? Eagan goes for the win. West tries to run it in, but a season-saving tackle by Woodbury's Luke Puglisi, and the Royals hold on 21-20. Moorhead versus Blaine. Spuds trying to hold off the Bengals late third quarter. Jet Feeney connects with David Mack from 3 yards out to put the game away. Six-seeded Moorhead over Blaine 38-21. St. Michael Albertville versus Osseo. In the third quarter, STMA seals the victory when Zach Marble pressures and intercepts a Wes Kranz pass and returns it 45 yards for the pick six. Number 5 STMA advances with a 43-21 win. Stillwater versus Shakopee. Late in the fourth quarter, tied at 14, Joseph Tay with the go-ahead score. Sabres defeat the Ponies 26-14. Anoka versus Minnetonka. Your big stars tend to step up in the big games. That's true for Caleb Francois of Minnetonka. A 44-yard catch here from Caden Gutzmer. 4 TDs on the night for Francois, and Minnetonka wins 34-16. Andover versus Eastridge. First score of the game, Cedric Tomes with an 18-yard touchdown pass to Akid Ali, but trickery on the two-point conversion. Raptors appear to go for the extra point, but Tomes takes the low snap and shovels it to Ethan LeBoy for the 2 points. Raptors win 28-20. Logan Lockermeyer of Minneapolis North has been at or near the top of the best quarterbacks in Minnesota list all season long. Heading into the playoffs, he had eclipsed 2,100 yards and 31 touchdowns, and no signs of slowing down. North hosting Breck. Following a first quarter interception, Polars on offense. Lockermeyer connects with Anthony DeLine down the right sideline for a 90-yard TD. Minneapolis North wins 58-7. Minneapolis Southwest versus St. Louis Park. This game could have gone either way, tied in the fourth quarter. However, Southwest puts it away when Kyler Tom goes deep for Tashawn Jones, 68 yards covered on the score, and Minneapolis Southwest wins 21-14. Robbinsdale Cooper versus Spring Lake Park. In the first quarter, Cooper punting, but the snap goes through the hands of Chad Hill. Hill has it stripped away by Chase Warner, and Sawyer Thompson scoops up the loose ball, going 6 yards in for the score. Spring Lake Park wins 28-12. Fridley versus St. Anthony. Just a 4-point lead for Fridley in the fourth quarter, and some insurance coming in the form of Malik Dade. 95-yard run expands the lead, and Fridley goes on for the mild upset win 21-10. Two Rivers versus Hastings. Late in the fourth quarter, down by 7, Two Rivers QB Drew Altavilla calmly steps up in the pocket and delivers a strike to Cole Altavilla. 34-yard touchdown pass to pull within one. Again, do you go for overtime or the win? Two Rivers would go for 2. Altavilla finds Johnny Lagerman for the 2-point conversion, and Two Rivers wins 15-14. Chisago Lakes versus South St. Paul. Good handoff disguised by QB Sincere Cesares McCampbell and the triple backfield. Jake Baldus gets the carry and scampers 70 yards for the score. South St. Paul wins 30-10. Minneapolis Camden versus St. Croix Lutheran. Crusaders reaching into their bag of tricks before Spooky Day and find this play. William Anderson pitches to Colin Avery, who then looks downfield to throw to Evan Fry for an 18-yard pickup. That would lead to a 17-yard touchdown run by Elijah Larson to give St. Croix Lutheran a 10-point lead. Crusaders win 17-6. It's time for some tennis trivia. Who has the most state championships in girls tennis? Looking for team, singles, and doubles. The answer, plus highlights from this week's tennis championships and a deep dive into state soccer as we head indoors to US Bank Stadium this week.
There's a new destination for all things Minnesota high school sports. It's called Strib Varsity. It's from the Minnesota Star Tribune, so you know it's trusted, with a deep bench to cover all of Minnesota. We've rebuilt and relaunched our Prep hubs and added more sports, stories, streams, stats, scores, schedules. We have it all at Strib Varsity. Subscribe today at startribune.com/stribvarsity.
Support your teams and community with NSPN.TV. Enjoy exclusive coverage from summer town ball to high school championships. Plus, feature stories and podcasts that bring you closer to the action. Stay connected with NSPN.TV, your neighborhood sports network.
Welcome back to the all-new NSPN Prep Update. Here's the answer to our trivia question: who has the most state championships in girls tennis? For teams, it's Edina with a remarkable 34 titles, followed by Lourdes and Blake. For singles, Gina Sue from SPA and Ann Wynn from Jefferson, each with 5. And for doubles, Amber Washington of Mounds Park Academy has 4, with 2 different partners, Beth Larson and Kate Roach. Sticking with tennis, congrats to this year's team champs, first-time winners St. James in Class 1A and Rock Ridge in 2A, along with Rochester Mayo, who won their 3rd straight 3A championship. Class 3A championship singles. After upsetting top-seeded Cassandra Lee of Eagan, who was undefeated in the regular season, Iofe Loftus defeated teammate Malaya Dean of Rochester Mayo 6-1, 6-3 to win the 3A singles crown. She and her older sister Claire are now both singles and doubles state champions. Class 1A singles. Minnetonka Academy's Chloe Alley defeated Leah Maddock of Osakis to get her 2nd straight singles title. Alley lost just once all season. That was to Cassandra Lee of Eagan. The outdoor soccer season wrapped up last week with 24 quarterfinals right here on NSPN.TV. Let's see which teams punched their tickets to US Bank Stadium and this week's semis and finals. Class 1A girls, St. Croix Prep versus Esco. After some fancy footwork by Madeline Hip to control, the ball is sent by Hannah Rotel and finds its way to Adeline Perot, who scores her 2nd of the match. Esco moves on to the state semis with a 4-1 win over St. Croix Prep. There, the 4 seed will meet number 1 and defending champ Providence Academy, 5 o'clock on Wednesday at US Bank Stadium. On the other side of the bracket, a 2-3 matchup with Watertown Mare versus St. Cloud Cathedral. That's Wednesday at 7. Class 2A girls, Byron versus Mankato East. A real thrill of victory, agony of defeat moment here. In overtime, Byron goalkeeper Cadence Loughran with a goal kick, then plays up as Mankato East charges. Grace Campbell with a 15-yard score, and the Cougars win 2-1. They're the 4 seed and move on to the semifinals this week against number 1 Matamidi. They'll kick off at 12:30 Wednesday at US Bank Stadium. At 2:30, number 2 Blake versus number 3 Holy Angels. Class 3A girls, St. Michael Albertville versus Wayzata. Just into overtime, and Lauren Craig sets up a corner kick perfectly placed in the box. Morgan Bryant goes around the defense to get into the right spot and head in the game winner. Wayzata keeps their undefeated season going with a 1-0 win over STMA. Wayzata, the 1 seed, will face number 5 Prior Lake 8 a.m. on Wednesday at US Bank Stadium. That's followed by the 10 a.m. semifinal between number 2 Stillwater and number 3 Eagan. To the boys, Class 1A, Southwest Christian versus Duluth Marshall. Less than a minute left in overtime and a long developing play for the Stars. Javi Ortiz in the center drawing a crowd of 4, then crosses to Andrew Nicholson with the left-footed goal to give the Stars a 2-1 win. Southwest Christian, the 4 seed, they move on to face number 1 Holy Angels, the defending Class 2A champ. That's this Tuesday at 5 o'clock. At 7 o'clock, the other semifinal features number 2 Stewartville versus number 3 St. Cloud Cathedral. Class 2A boys from the quarterfinals, St. Paul Como Park versus New Ulm. Scoreless first half, but not so much in the second. Como Park's Hamza Abdi gets the ball rolling off the assist from Stephen Ada, Como Park wins 3-1 to punch their ticket to US Bank Stadium. They were unseeded heading into the tournament. They'll take on number 2 Simley on Tuesday at 2:30. That follows the 1-4 matchup with Blake and Northfield. They kick off at 12:30. Class 3A boys, Eagan versus Maple Grove, and another close match, and another corner in overtime. Everett Johnston sets up the corner and delivers a beauty to Mpls Olsen, and the Crimson win 2-1. They were the 3 seed and take on number 2 Buffalo in the semifinals, 10 a.m. on Tuesday. The early game, number 4 Wayzata versus number 1 Edina. All 4 of these teams reside in the Lake Conference. The life of a high school athlete can be tough enough, but Harlow Berger of Matamidi pulls double duty in football and girls soccer. Justin Barrientos has more.
Berger's start in football was as unique as her double sport participation.
Power Bowl. It's it's like an all-girls flag football thing, and the boys seniors on the football team are the coaches. And so as a joke, I was like, oh, let me just kick a few. And then they were like, oh, you need to come to practice. It's been so fun. It's been my favorite thing ever since.
She just came and asked if it was a possibility. And, we said absolutely.
When she was younger, we had so many other goalies. And so at the time, it was kind of it's kind of a unique situation for her to go out and she actually was kicking for the JV right before a soccer practice, and we were able to see her hit some field goals, and it was impressive, and we cheered her on, and it was exciting, and then you started to realize as a coach that, oh, this is something that's going to actually happen. And now, at the time it was just let's try it as a novelty, and then it was like, hey, this is going to be successful. And now as a soccer coach, you want now you're worried about her health, and so then it became a concern, but she's handled it well.
Time management and cooperation between the sports have been key to being able to play both sports.
And that's the tough part. It's just there's only so much time in a day, and so when they get done early, she'll pop over and do as much as she can with us. But she also has to balance. If she did a lot of kicks or things like that in soccer practice, I don't want her to come and she's got to be careful she doesn't overuse her leg as well.
Berger recently committed to the University of St. Thomas to hopefully continue her soccer career.
I know she's a special keeper. I know she's a Division I style goalie. She was a great goalie last year, and she's even better this year.
The balancing act has given Berger credibility and status as someone to look up to.
She starts her attack. She's got 3 assists this year and a goal. Just distributing the ball. So she's an awesome kid, awesome player.
It's tough to recognize these could be our last practices, so just me going out there, going for everything.
At Matamidi High School, Justin Barrientos, NSPN.TV.
There's still one more segment left on the Prep Update. Section volleyball highlights are next, plus a school snapshot from the top of the hill.
New journey.
Division 3 straight to Division 1.
New energy. Same standard.
The Tommies have climbed to the peak of the summit.
And your Pioneer Football League champions wear purple and gray.
No limits. Welcome to St. Thomas Athletics.
Welcome back to the NSPN Prep Update. I'm Ryan Phelps. The volleyball brackets are taking shape as they get ready for their semis and finals this week. Here are some of our favorite aces and quarterfinal kills. We start with St. Paul Central versus White Bear Lake. Central puts a scare into the Bears early, but White Bear took control in the second set thanks to kills like this from Pearl Nijioma. Bears win 3-0, but would fall to Roseville in the next round, ending their season 17-12. St. Francis versus Zimmerman. That scoreboard is right. We could spend the whole show talking about set number 2 in this match. First-year player Shannon Menz serves for Zimmerman and gets the ace to win an epic second set and even the score. Zimmerman wins 3-1 to play for the Section 5 AAA championship. Minneapolis Roosevelt versus Cretin-Durham Hall. Raiders dominate in this match. Libero Cecilia Klein with a key save and another by Leela Colvin, with Carolyn Banks getting the kill.
Raiders win 3-0. Rosemount versus Eagan. Eagan came into the match the third-ranked team in the state and showed why. Good rally, punctuated by a kill from Jocelyn Vesledal. Wildcats sweep the Irish for the second time this season to move to the Section 3 4A championship. Edina versus Apple Valley. Midway through the second set, and Apple Valley is in control. After a return of serve, Sophia Cowan hammers home the kill to add another point, and Apple Valley sweeps Edina to advance to the 6 4A championship game.
It's time for our school snapshot. That's when we get to know the towns and communities outside the playing field. Today we take you to the Twin Ports and up the hill.
It was originally called Duluth Cathedral when it started in 1904, but was changed after an agreement with the Catholic Diocese of Duluth that could no longer afford to sustain the school. In 1987, the name changed to the Marshall School to highlight its independent status and to honor the Albert Morley Marshall family, whose vision and resources over 3 generations enhanced the quality of education and life in Duluth. Marshall is the only college prep school in northern Minnesota and northwestern Wisconsin, but over the years, its reach has grown beyond the area, beyond the state. In fact, it's grown beyond the U.S., as they have many international students that attend, joining the roughly 250 students grades 9 through 12. The upper school experience is intentionally built to engage students and meet them where they are at, both academically and social-emotionally. The upper school community strives for students to have authentic and meaningful connections with other students, with their teachers, and with other community members. They have all the high academic classes a student could want, and even special programs like their Senior Project, which encourages seniors to breathe life into the school's mission by designing, developing, and implementing their own individual project that springs from a student's genuine academic and personal interests, pulls together past experiences and future goals, and generates intellectual curiosity and creativity. Students will spend the last 2 weeks of their senior year completing their project and present it to the community during the annual Senior Project Fair. Although their reach may be worldwide, they're best known here in Minnesota for hockey, where they've made 12 trips to state, and dance, with their 6 championships in jazz. The boys won the state soccer title back in 2007, and for this group of Hilltoppers, the view would be pretty sweet once again from on top.
That'll do it for this edition of the all-new NSPN Prep Update. We'll be back with more next week. For Hannah, JB, and the rest of the NSPN crew, I'm Ryan Phelps, saying so long from the Neighborhood Sports Network.